Y'all, I think I may have found my favorite book of 2020, and the year's not even over, but it's gonna take a lot to top this book that I just read. Stay tuned to learn more. Back to Books with Kimberly. I am doing another book review, and this time I am reviewing The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. Y'all, this book was so good. I know I probably say, y'all probably think I say that about all the books I read, but this one really, it really had me thinking. It was so well written, so well done. I was just hanging on to every word. I probably haven't read a book this fast in a long time. This book was so good. I could not put it down. I enjoyed it that much. And it's so good that I want a part two. I probably want a part two and three because this story is just so inviting and it's so interesting to me. And I was here for it. So I'm not going to do any spoilers because guess what? This is going to be an HBO show. And so I know a lot of people are going to watch it once it comes to HBO. HBO bought the rights to this book, so they will be doing a mini series on this book, which I'm so excited about. So this story is about two twins, Stella and Desiree. They are described as very fair skin, creamy skin, hazel eyes, wavy hair, and they live in this fictional town, which I actually heard is based off a real town. This fictional town called Mallard in Louisiana, which I'm from Louisiana, so I was like, what? Okay. This town was founded by a mulatto. His dad was a white owner of property, and I think his mom was a slave, and so he inherited the property after his dad died, and he wanted it to be a town where only light-skinned people could be. Only light-skinned black people lived in this town of Mallard. Colorism was very much alive in this town because they did not let dark-skinned people come in. They did not marry dark-skinned people. They couldn't talk to them. One of the characters in the book, he describes speaking to like a light-skinned girl in public and being slapped. Like, don't you talk to my daughter, because he was a darker tone. So this book starts off with one of the sisters, Desiree, returning to Mallard with her daughter, Jude, who is described as blue black. And the town is up in arms about it because at 16 years old, these twins left home, did not tell anybody, and everybody was wondering where these twins were. And come to find out, they just was bored and decided to leave. Well, that's what people think. So one of the twins, she married the darkest man she could find, as the book describes, and he was very abusive, so much that years later, in her 30s, she took her daughter in the middle of the night and they ran away to Mallard, the town that she grew up in, which that was a whole nother thing in this book, was like her daughter having to live and go to school in a town where she's the only dark-skinned girl. Of course, she was teased and bullied a lot, which, you know, that was very disheartening to read about. Y'all, the other twin, once they got to New Orleans, that's where they ran away to. They ran away to New Orleans. The other twin decides to pass as a white woman. They needed money and they could not find a job, and there was a job for a secretary, like somebody to type up some stuff, and she applied for it and decided to pretend she was a white woman. Her boss took a liking to her and they began a relationship, and so when he asked, like, do you want to move away with me, she said yes, and she decided to pass as a white woman. And you know, her sister was distraught because she didn't tell her sister bye. Her sister did not know anything about this. She just one day in the middle of the night left. The book does go into Desiree's life coming back to Mallard. It talks about her daughter Jude, who grows up in Mallard but then goes to school in California. And it also talks about Stella, her life, which was very interesting because it started off where I wasn't here for Stella, y'all, because this black family, I can spoil this, a black family was trying to move into the community that Stella and her rich white husband lived in. And baby, Stella got up like, no, those black people can't come here. We can't have them in this town. We can't have them in our neighborhood. I'm like, girl, you black. Just ranting and raving about how this black family cannot move into her community. And what it is Stella, she's always had this interest in passing. I'm not going to spoil too much. You read the book and you'll find out why. But they do talk about this instance where she went to a museum and she went on the white only day so that she could, just experience it as a white woman. And she was going through the museum, all the levels, all the displays. Nobody detected that she was a black girl, except she locked eyes with the black security guard and he gave her a wink. And that scared her and she ran out of the museum. And so since then, Stella has been very mean and coming off as racist. Well, she probably has turned racist because, she's passing and she has this fear of black people being able to expose her. So throughout the book, you realize that Desiree is really longing for her sister. She really misses her and she's hoping that one day they can be reunited. Her boyfriend, he starts looking for her. He's a bounty hunter and he spends years looking for Stella. And I don't know, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't like Stella. I didn't. And I guess it's for the obvious reason of her passing, but I felt like her decision was very selfish and she didn't think about her sister. And I know that black people were going through a lot during this time. And she was just thinking about herself and how she could survive. But I do think that with her sister, she wasn't going through life alone. Whatever they would have went through, her sister would have been there for her. But overall, y'all, this book had me hooked. I recommend that all of you read this book and stay tuned for the mini-series that's coming out. I will be keeping all of you updated and maybe I'll even be reviewing the show. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And thank you again for watching another video from Books with Kimberly.